I have not experienced in my world yet bringing in a found CEO who cares about the company and understands the company and will be dedicated to the company like the founding CEO. I've seen many CEOs step down, do professional searches, bring in recruited CEOs, and failures happen or mediocrity happens. Hey, everybody. Ryan Dice and Roland Frasier here with the Business Lunch podcast. And we were
You
talking
never said
about,
my name first, by the way.
yeah, I'm decided I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to mix it up.
This way, new listeners have no idea who's who. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's great. Yeah. I'm
fantastic.
Roland. I'm waving my hand. If you're listening, you're just out of luck. No, this is
Yeah,
Roland talking and Ryan can talk now. Excellent. So
nailed it.
you nailed it. So we were talking about CEOs, and it came from there's an article that's out today called "The Dating Game: Bumble CEO Steps Down Amidst Company Evolution," and we thought that that was kind of interesting. It says that Whitney Wolf Herd, who was the primary founder of that company, is going to step down from her role as CEO, and it came as part of the company's broader evolution, kind of vague, and could have significant implications for the future direction of the dating app business. I asked for some more details and it just said that there aren't extensive details. So the thing that was interesting is I was like, good news
I
article,
asked for
love
the
it.
details, and it was like,
No. Um, but the interesting thing is that she's stepping down, and apparently somewhere it said she wanted to get back to her founder roots, which might mean that she's kind of bored with this. She's done her thing as a founder, grown it to an amazing company, built herself $1 billion net worth, and now she's bored, or she's looking for something else, or the company's moved into the administrative stage, and she doesn't feel like that's really her role. There are lots of reasons that you as a CEO might decide that you don't want to continue to be a CEO. And we were talking about it because in one of our portfolio companies last night, I got a text from one of the CEOs of one of those companies saying, "Hey, I think I'm ready to step down and bring in a professional CEO." And we've been in the process of professionalizing that business for a little bit right now, and so that's kind of one of the two last positions in the C-suite that we might think about professionalizing. And I wanted to talk with you, Ryan, because my advice was, look, you founded this thing, you've been there, you've grown it. I have not experienced in my world yet bringing in a found CEO who cares about the company and understands the company and will be dedicated to the company like the founding CEO. I've seen many CEOs step down, do professional searches, bring in recruited CEOs, and failures happen or mediocrity happens. And so my advice was, why don't we get a COO that is super, super professional and has been there, done that? Because the concerns when I was talking to this person, I said, what is it about being CEO that's a challenge? It's like, well, there's just so many things, people that need to be held accountable, things that are slipping through the cracks. I don't have enough time to do what I'm really good at in terms of creating new business for the company. And all of that stuff was internal. And so I said that like all of that stuff is stuff that a COO would do. And a couple of things. Number one, that's really that job function that you're talking about is COO, not CEO. Two, I don't think you'll find anybody that cares about the company like you do. This person is amazingly dedicated. And I think that you, as the guiding visionary light of the company and primary finder of new opportunities, shouldn't really change, especially because you love what you do. And that really you're just trying to get rid of the things that you don't love, which is all the stuff that a COO would do. So my thinking is get that person. Also, you have the benefit of they're going to take less equity and they're going to cost less. And they're probably going to be better at the job that you want than a CEO would, because all the CEO is going to do is come in and go, that's not really what I do. Let me get a good COO. So that's kind of giving you some context and thoughts. I'd love to see what you think, Ryan, and then kind of have the discussion for everybody here that might be thinking maybe the business would just be better off without me in the top seat.
I think this is very personal for me. I mean, as you know, I've fired myself as CEO from companies twice, and it was one time in particular was one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my entrepreneurial business life. I mean, nearly bankrupted the company and me personally. So this is definitely very, very personal for me. And having worked, as we do with a number of CEOs, this comes up all the time. And I think that there are good reasons for founders to step down as the CEO. A couple. I think there are scores of bad reasons for them to do it. And I
Okay,
think
let's talk
one of the
about the good
questions.
ones.
So I think a good reason to step down is that your company has reached a level where you and your board all agree that you don't really have the skills to take the company from where it is to the next level. You don't have the skills and you're unlikely to acquire them fast enough, in part because you just don't want to. Right? Now, I would argue that's leaving on a good day. Right? Because what you're basically saying is we're at a really, really, really good place where we want to go. I don't know how to take us there. And I think that can be a good reason to step down as CEO. Now, I don't think that you have to do that, by the way, but I think that is an okay reason to do it. In other words, leave on a good day. That's one thing I remember. You interviewed Sarah Blakely at one of our events, and her dad that was the advice that her dad gave her was you can quit, you just can't quit on a bad day.
Right.
You got to quit on a good day. So when it's a good day, let's have a conversation. If you want to leave then, that's fine. I think far too many entrepreneurs, they will quit on a bad day. So I think if it's truly a good day, like let's say your company goes public and you've taken it public and you've hung around for, a year or two, and you just are not enjoying running a public company, but things are going fine, you want to leave, I think that's fine. Because there's no doubt that running a public company is fundamentally different than running an entrepreneurial private venture. I think another good reason to leave is, let's say the company makes a strategic pivot and it works, but now you realize that, whoa, I'm no longer the best person to lead this. Like the direction the company is going, I really can't follow. I have a friend of mine who they started a business in the marketing SaaS space that was very big in small and medium-sized business. And it did really well. And they were able to raise about $500,000. And this particular company, just in the last couple of weeks, he stepped down as CEO because it is now moving well up market. And he's saying, like, I don't know how to run an up market company. I don't really want to run it. And what they had, and I think this is really important, they had a COO who had done that exact thing. Right. And so again, leaving on a good day. So I think that's the first question I ask is, am I leaving on a good day or am I leaving on a bad day? Another way to look at this is, am I running to something or am I running away from something? Right? Am I running away from this thing that I don't want? Or is it, this is good, but there's something over here that I want even more? So when, Whitney Wolfe Herd talks about how, I want to be able to kind of flex my founder muscles again. It's, running Bumble's been great. It's been really successful. I miss running a small business. I want to do another startup.
Right.
I think those are good reasons for founders to leave, at least for themselves. Whether it's the best thing for the company, time will tell. But I think those are acceptable reasons to consider it. What's not is, I'm just burned out and tired. Because to your point, the mistake that a lot of entrepreneurs make, and dude, I don't like to point fingers, but I'm literally pointing a finger right now. I think one of the worst things to happen to the entrepreneurial world was what I believe is the misunderstanding of the visionary integrator concept. Right. And I'll say it, like, I get it. Like, Gino Wickman's a friend. I think Traction is a great book. But the core concept from that book, which was telling entrepreneurs, look, you're the visionary. And what you need to do is you need to bring in an integrator who's going to do all the dirty work. So you just get to visionate all over the place. And then other people will do the actual work and clean up your mess. Now, that's not what the book actually says. No. Right. But that's what a lot of entrepreneurs take from that. They take from that, oh, I just need to bring in somebody to do all the stuff that I don't want to do or that I'm not very good at. And I just don't think you really get to do that as a founder CEO. I mean, that's like a parent saying, I want to play with the kids, but I don't really want to clean up any dirty diapers or feed them or, deal with any of that stuff. Like, no, that's not the job. That's not what you signed up for. So and I know when we're working with CEOs, and you did the same thing, when they're burned out, it's the first question is the exact one. What are you doing right now that you don't want to do? And almost always there's some functional business role. There's somebody at the company who should be doing a critical role, and they're already in the job and they just aren't doing it anymore, and you're picking up their slack. And you're burned out because you're doing, their job, your job and theirs. And that could be in marketing, it could be in sales, it could be in ops, it could be anywhere. But usually the solution, and what I would always try first, is, do we need to make a functional business hire at an executive level?